And we are looking at those hazy conditions to stick around as we go into the weekend when the air quality does look to be a little bit better in the full forecast.
And a Milwaukee man is sentenced in the gruesome murder of Sade Robinson. We'll tell you what that sentence was. And workers are still on strike now for a month at the Mercy Health East Clinic in Janesville. We'll check in on that stalemate. We welcome you to News 3 now at 5. Those hazy skies, well, they continue out there. Meteorologist Blaze Keller joins us once again with more on what the air quality is out there. Blaze?
It's unhealthy for some to unhealthy for all. Not as bad, not as thick on our Edgewater sky cam looking towards Lake Mendota as compared to yesterday, but it is still hazy out there. I'm sure if you've been outside, you can still see that little bit of smoke out there. We're not seeing those blue skies that we'd otherwise expect to see as a high pressure system sits overhead, but take a look at those dew points. It is so unfortunate that it is so hazy outside because for the end of July, early August, dew points in the upper 40s to low 50s with 70s. It is very comfortable outside. But we do have a little bit of less haze out there. These blues indicate less smoke, so that is some good news. But just off along the Mississippi River in parts of Crawford and Grant County and even parts of Lafayette County, that's where we do see more of that thicker smoke, and that is going to continue to linger across the Midwest and the plains as we head into the weekend. So our current air quality with that little breakup of smoke is moderate in downtown Madison to unhealthy for some. Everybody there in the orange. We have, as expected, seen that air quality warning extended through now noon on Saturday because that haze is going to be sticking around through at least Saturday into Sunday. We'll take a look at what the air quality will be like on Saturday and a look at the rest of the weekend and next week in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. A Milwaukee man has been sentenced in the murder of Sade Robinson. A judge sentencing Maxwell Anderson to life in prison without the possibility of parole. A jury found him guilty of murder, mutilating and hiding a corpse, and arson back in June. On a first date, Anderson killed, dismembered, and scattered Robinson's remains. They were later found in parks across Milwaukee County and as far away as northern Illinois.
You're a coward. My daughter is a hero. My daughter is a hero. She has saved so many other women from this demonic serial killer that there's no telling how many more people that he has killed.
Now, Anderson maintained his innocence when he took the stand during today's sentencing hearing. The Madison man charged in a 2022 shooting that injured 2 teens has been sentenced. Avion Vaquero will spend 10 years in prison. He pleaded guilty to 2 felony counts of armed robbery as party to a crime back in May. 2 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide as party to a crime were dismissed. Vaquero and Jamari Mondi were arrested for a shooting in August of 2022 outside of McDonald's on Dryden Drive on the east side. 2 teens who were sitting in a car outside the restaurant were injured when both men opened fire. Saturday marks 1 month since workers at the Mercy Health East Clinic in Janesville walked off the job looking for a mixture of demands. Our Kyle Pazorski was back at the picket line today and reports on their continued efforts.
The sound of honking cars and picketing workers have a continued presence outside the Mercy Health East Clinic. But it's not exactly what many of these striking workers want to see.
We want to get back in there and give our patients the proper care.
Sandy Welch is the vice president for UAW Local 95. She says there's been a breakdown in communications between the 2 parties, with efforts by the union to talk with Mercy being met with silence.
Put a call into her and she said she'd get back to us. That was last week and we haven't heard anything yet.
In the month since beginning this strike, she says only 2 of the more than 100 members have returned to work. It was early last month when Vice President of Mercy Health, Jenny Hallett, said there would be no disruption in patient care. Enrique Castellano, a member of the striking union, says he's heard from patients who say that's not the case owing to the small number of members returning to work.
Providers have no staff that is qualified to help them out. We've had reports of medications going missing, wrong vaccines being given.
News 3 Now has not been able to verify those claims. The union is looking for the health provider to implement better security measures at the clinic, increase wages, and improve employee benefits. The picket line does continue to be strong. On most weekdays, it's in smaller numbers. The union representatives tell me that they bring together the entire unit on Fridays to show solidarity as one. In Janesville, Kyle Pazorski, News 3 Now.
Kyle, thank you. Now, union representatives further say they have no indication to believe the parties will come to an agreement anytime soon. Today at the Capitol, a rally for home health care access serves as the culmination of one man's 127-mile trip from Neenah to Madison in a wheelchair. Carl Schulze has been riding his wheelchair more than 10 miles a day for the past 2 weeks, protesting for the aides and caregivers who work with him every day. Schulze says there's a shortage of those caregivers because they aren't paid competitive wages and often don't receive benefits with their jobs.
I've driven my wheelchair 125 miles to sit here in front of the Capitol to raise the alarm. People with disabilities on Medicaid, like me, are being left behind because our home health aides, the heartbeat of our care, are underpaid and undervalued.
Schulze was joined at the Capitol by other members of the disability rights community, many sharing the stories of their own caregivers and advocating for increased Medicaid funding to provide those workers with livable wages and benefits. A live look right now at the Capitol. Justice-elect Susan Crawford swearing in is underway right now. She was elected back in April, beating Republican-backed candidate Brad Schimmel, securing a 4-3 liberal majority on the state's highest court. The historic race broke the record for most amount of money spent on a judicial election in U.S. history. New data shows the job market is slowing down significantly. The Labor Department says U.S. employers added just 73,000 jobs in July, lower than what economists expected. And revisions reveal hiring in May and June was much less than first thought. Last month, more federal workers were let go, including more than 1,300 at the State Department alone, and tech companies continue to scale back.
Hiring now is much weaker than what we had thought, and that raises questions about the future direction of the economy.
Now, following today's jobs report, President Trump fired the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, accusing her of manipulating the report for political purposes. Starting today, millions of student loan borrowers will start accruing interest again on their loans. The SAVE plan, introduced under the Biden administration, lowers monthly payments and shortens the time it takes to receive student loan forgiveness based on enrollees' income. But last year, federal judges in Kansas and Missouri blocked key parts of the SAVE plan. Following the court's decisions, borrowers were placed in no interest forbearance, with payments paused and balances frozen since last summer.
Once payments start, we expect they're going to pay about $5,000 more per year, including those interest charges, once they actually have to start making payments.
Student loan debt relief organizations say deciding what to do next is up to individuals, starting payments now or to continue with the forbearance. But either way, their balances will increase. A Wisconsin community comes together to help one of their own who is also an Olympic athlete. Ben Askren, a former UFC star and Olympian, recently had a double lung transplant and is now back in the hospital due to infection. The fundraiser was initially meant to expose more people to wrestling, but after his surgery, Ben's friends turned it into a fundraiser for him. He even raised the bar again, donating what his friends say was the unthinkable.
I was with him this weekend. I asked, hey, before I leave, can you sign something and that I could maybe raffle off? And he went into his closet and tossed me a singlet. It was his Olympic singlet. I said, I can't take this, Ben.
His friends say Ben convinced them to take the singlet and auction it off for his medical expenses. Ben's friends say they want his focus to be on fighting the infection, not his medical bills. It is day 9 of Packers training camp, the team preparing for a big event this weekend. Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde at Lambeau Field ahead of the Green and Gold's family night tomorrow.
How you doing, everybody? It's Jason Wilde at Lambeau Field, and right over my shoulder, the field crew is painting the lines for family night, the closest we will get to a real football game until next Saturday, when the first preseason game against the New York Jets is right here in this venerable stadium. But it's an important night, especially for the players that are either rookies that are going to be seeing Lambeau Field from the inside, full of fans for the first time, but also for players that are trying to make an impression. There will be some tackling periods late in practice, but it is a practice. It's just a very, very glorified practice and a great opportunity for guys looking to make an impression. We'll have full coverage of Family Night on channel3000.com for free, and we'll have coverage all throughout training camp and through the season on channel3000.com. And make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter while you're there as well. That too is free. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Jason, thanks. The 24th Packers Family Night is tomorrow, Lambeau Field. The doors will open at 5:30. The team takes the field at 7. And then a week from that game, the Packers will open up the preseason. They'll host the New York Jets. Lambeau Field kickoff Saturday, August 9th at 7 p.m. Still ahead at 5, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting is shutting down. And the Trump administration announces new tariff rates. How lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are reacting to the increase in taxes and the tariffs and that poor jobs report leading to a nosedive on Wall Street. The Dow falls more than 542 points. The NASDAQ tumbles 472. S&P loses 101. And we'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5.
Law enforcement in Anaconda, Montana are confirming 4 people are dead after a shooting at a bar this morning. Officials say the suspect, 45-year-old Michael Brown, fled the scene. Police are still looking for him and are asking area residents to stay away. Multiple agencies are working this incident, including the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. After more than 6 decades, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting will be shutting down operations. The announcement comes less than 2 weeks after the president signed a bill cutting $1.1 billion from CPB. Officials say they will help local stations come up with plans to deal with small budgets, but they say some may not be able to stay afloat. And we saw stocks tumble after the weak jobs report and concerns about the new tariffs unveiled by the Trump administration, how it could take a toll on the global economy. The new rates will be imposed on nearly 70 U.S. trading partners. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
President Trump's new tariff rates will affect dozens of U.S. trading partners, with import taxes on goods from some countries topping 40%.
We're taking in literally trillions of dollars for the country. This is making our country very rich.
The White House says the rates are based on trade imbalances and negotiations. Switzerland, which exports cheese, high-end watches, and chocolate to the U.S., faces a 39% tariff.
And if you can't increase the prices, you lose money by exporting to the United States.
Although some of the new tariff rates are lower than what President Trump initially threatened to impose, they are still the U.S.'s most aggressive import taxes in nearly a century.
The chickens are coming home to roost on Donald Trump's destructive trade war, and the American people are paying the price. You sow chaos, Donald Trump, you reap chaos.
Top Democrats say the tariffs are already having an impact on the economy, pointing to July's weaker than expected jobs report. But Republicans praise the president's plan.
You know, the tariffs are working perfectly. It's driving lots of manufacturing jobs back home. I talked to a big pharma company recently that's overseas, and they're going to bring all these jobs over here.
The White House says the tariffs will encourage more companies to move production to the U.S., but businesses big and small warn American consumers could soon be facing higher prices. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
There is shock and outrage in Texas after a hearing on last month's deadly flooding. Kerr County's emergency coordinator William Thomas, who previously refused to answer any questions, says he was homesick that week and missed emergency briefings. He didn't wake up until hours after the Guadalupe River had overflowed. His boss, County Judge Rob Kelly, was at his lake house in another county, and the sheriff went to bed the night before without any worries about the weather.
I thought, what the heck is going on? Why the heck were they not there? And when I found out about what happened, I immediately went to that point in my life of dropping my daughter off at camp and maybe not being able to pick her up.
Monday marks 1 month since the flood. 108 people died in Kerr County, including 27 campers and counselors from Camp Mystic. 2 people are still unaccounted for, and that includes one of those young campers. Around here, the hazy skies are expected to continue into the evening, but will they stick around for the weekend? Here's Blaze with more.
We are expecting those hazy conditions to stick around through at least Saturday. Sunday, we'll get a little bit less haze, maybe some more blue skies, but there will still be some haze floating around on Sunday as well. We're likely going to really see this haze move on out of here sometime next week. Our high pressure system that brought down the cooler, more comfortable air also brought down that smoke, and it's slowly moving east. And as it does, it's going to take some of that smoke with it. So again, that air quality alert is at least through noon on Saturday. I could foresee it being extended even into Sunday as we're going to continue to deal with those hazy conditions. But both Saturday and Sunday will be comfortable. Low dew points, temperatures seasonal in the upper 70s to low 80s. winds are starting to turn out of the south on Sunday, and that's going to help move some of that smoke on out of here. So Saturday's air quality forecast is looking to be unhealthy for some in the orange to unhealthy for everybody in the red. Some of that smoke is going to get trapped in some of those valleys along the Mississippi River, the Wisconsin River, out into parts of Grant, Crawford, Richland, Iowa, and Lafayette counties, not to mention Sauk County as well. So just keep that in mind. That's why we're likely going to be dealing with more of that unhealthy air quality for all, further to the west than further to the east. But we're dealing with two plumes of smoke, if you will. Smoke is coming from wildfires across southwestern parts of the United States, as well as from up in Canada. So watch as that high pressure system slowly moves eastward. It's going to continue to bring in not only smoke from out west, but eventually push out the smoke from Canada back into southern parts of Canada. That center of high pressure is going to be somewhere in this general area as we go into Sunday. Southerly winds on the backside of that will take the smoke from out west as well as to our north and push it all off into southern parts of Canada. So we will start to see some relief from this smoke, but it likely won't occur until probably later Sunday into Monday of next week. And that's why I could see that air quality alert being extended, much like what we saw yesterday into Saturday, extended from Saturday into Sunday. Now, when that high pressure system moves off towards the east, we're going to make way for more rain because southerly winds will bring back a little bit more moisture. So we could see some rain on Tuesday, but I think the best chance for more of that rain is going to occur as we go into the second half of next week. Watch as a lot more of those greens come out of Minnesota as we go Tuesday into Wednesday, and then Thursday onwards, we're kind of hit by a couple chances for rain. We're now pausing Future Track at Saturday at 9:30 in the morning, still dealing with some shower and thunderstorm activity, and then Sunday into that following Monday as well. This will help clear out some of the pollen as well as some of the smoke. But folks, until those wildfires up in Canada are put out, anytime we get northerly winds, we're likely going to be dealing with some of that smoke, whether it's thick smoke or hopefully some of that thinner smoke. But just know that northerly winds are likely going to bring us some of that haze over the next couple of weeks to maybe months, depending on how long the fires continue out there. In the meantime, temperatures will slowly start to climb back into those mid to upper 80s Thursday, Friday, Saturday of next week. Again, that's when we see more of those rain chances. So again, use whatever safety precaution you need to, but I encourage you to try to get outside and enjoy these nicer conditions while we have them, because that humidity will return as we close out next week.
All right, Blaze, thank you. And still to come at 5, kids and teachers across the nation are already preparing to go back to school. And we'll look at one Indiana superintendent going viral for his unique announcement style. Stay with us.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
Welcome back. A school superintendent is getting ready for school in a unique way, creating viral pop music parodies starring his students and staff. Jeremy Roth sits down with the parody principal for this special back to school report.
Everybody. It's back to school season, and for most administrators, that means prep work, planning, and oversight. But for one super creative Southern Indiana school superintendent, it also means turning school business into show business.
School is back, all right. I tell people all the time, that I can't believe that I get to do this as a part of my job as a superintendent. My name is Mike Allen, and I am the superintendent of Evansville Christian School, but I'm also known as the parody principal.
For more than a decade in educational administration, Allen has written and produced elaborate YouTube videos performing popular song parodies to keep his students, parents, and staff informed and entertained.
I try to choose ones that are fun, that are recognizable, and that work for telling the story I'm trying to tell. Snow days, 2-hour delays. Snow, the white stuff. Christmas breaks. Christmas break is here. Spring breaks. We could really use it.
Not to mention COVID closures.
Goodbye, COVID-19. I wish I never knew you at all.
Parent-teacher meetings.
Hello, parents, my old friend.
And even winter safety.
Slip
seems no school issue, or musical genre for that matter, is safe from Allen's punchy parodies. And while his videos provide this natural showman a creative outlet, Allen says the biggest reward is the engagement with his students and staff.
It's not separate from my work, it's for my work. It's a part of what I believe is part of my role, which is to encourage and inspire and affirm.
So for now, it's back to school for Superintendent Allen and back to the old drawing board for the parody principal.
I looked at the building, I was finally here to settle on in for another school year.
I'm Jeremy Roth, reporting.
Pretty creative. Blaze is back. A final check of your weekend forecast when we come back.
We're on the southern border with the U.S. military on a mission to stop illegal border crossings. The numbers are at historic lows. But what's the price? And Steve Hartman takes us on the road to Georgia to meet a teen who proved the value of his mom's advice. Work hard because you don't know who's watching. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And after that, next hour, Columbian County residents push back why they're implementing a new ordinance to stop a wind project. That story and more. Join us at the top of the hour for News 3 Now at 6. A scientist in Georgia has lit up the record books by measuring the biggest lightning strike in recorded history. It's dubbed a mega flash. It stretched over 500 miles from Texas all the way to Missouri. The lightning flash happened way back in 2017 during a storm, but was only spotted recently thanks to new satellite technology. Unlike ground sensors, satellites sit about 22,000 miles above the Earth and move along with the planet's rotation. They can keep a constant eye on huge areas, catching lightning whenever and wherever it strikes. Quite a show from outer space. Blaze is back. Final check of the forecast. Everybody's talking about this smoke out there.
I know, and I truly wish that I could take it away because we've been so humid and so hot, and now it's finally comfortable. But unfortunately, folks, that smoke is sticking around through the weekend. Tonight is going to be another comfortable night. Few might even slip into the upper 40s for the start of August with these low dew points and comfortable temperatures. I mean, you may want to open up the window, but just keep in mind, again, it is going to be smoky overnight into Saturday and likely through at least Monday of next week. Our current air quality alert goes until noon on Saturday. I could see that being extended as we sit underneath smoky conditions through Monday.
At least turn off the AC.
Yes, yeah,
you
give that a
can't
break.
open the windows. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000 Plus. See you next.